the ladies panel and different things, and she's here to talk about the library tonight. But first, let's start with Kira Cash, Team Meg. We met by chance. I was, what was it, Cracker Barrel. I was eating at Cracker Barrel, and she came over and she laid down this little thing. And also, look, if you could, the TV camera can pan down to this little poster right here. And she handed me this little pamphlet, and I kind of like, oh, cervical cancer, okay. And I kind of put it aside for a minute, and then I started really looking at it after she left and reading her story, and then I almost started crying. So I want you to talk about your story. Go ahead and tell us about Team Meg and why it's called, and who Meg is.
Okay. Hi. I'll say I'm nervous.
That's okay.
So Meg, Team Meg, Megan Campbell, was our daughter. She was 22 when she passed from cervical cancer. Can try and go through a little bit of notes. I'm here to raise awareness about cervical cancer. I'm here to raise awareness about the importance of pap smears. I can say that, right?
Yes.
Here to raise awareness about the HPV vaccine and just in general, women and all of us, men too, should listen to their bodies, which is something that we learned the hard way. But Meg was a 21-year-old planning a cruise. She was feeling good. 2010 in the fall, she started having just some random issues, and it was never anything that lasted more than a day or two. She was having some problems with her bowels and having a lot of vomiting, and then she'd feel fine the next day. And that went on for quite a while. She planned her cruise. She went on her cruise in April 2011. She came back. She went back to work. She was doing Relay for Life. That's the sign. Our company was really good to help us with all that. She was planning Relay for Life events, raising money. But she was feeling sick, and it wasn't every day. So one of the things they tell you to listen to your body is if you have symptoms for 2 weeks or more to go see a doctor. But if it's coming and going, it's a little easier to blow it off and say, it's nothing. Her sisters have some female issues that it's similar to polycystic ovarian syndrome. So she just blew it off to be 21 years old. She went on her cruise, she came home, she went back to work. And she called me a couple times that she came over to the house. She was just sick for the night. She'd feel fine in the morning, go to work. But then she called me at work to say, can you come get me? I need to go home. I've been just thrown up. They're sending me home. And I said, if I take off work to get you, we're going to the doctor. So I tried. She wouldn't go. So I forced her. We went to the doctor. Went to the doctor 3 times in 1 week. They had pretty quickly identified there was a kidney issue, so then they sent us home with some medicine, appointment for a kidney doctor the next week. And then on that Saturday, she woke up with a fever, so back to the doctor and on to the ER. She was in the hospital for 4 days, and they decided her kidneys were completely inflamed and large. They were blocked by a tumor that was on her cervix. That kind of progressed into a trip up to Marquis Cancer Center. She was staged at 3B cervical cancer in May of 2011, and she passed on April 2nd, 2012, just 11 months later. We had 69 days, no, 80 days. I'm lost on my notes. We spent a lot of time in the hospital. We were at Lake Cumberland Hospital. We were at UK Marquis Cancer. We were at UK Hospital. She had one bad reaction after another. It was a long journey. But through it all, Meg was confident. She was sure she was going to beat it. She made everybody else smile. She really worked at that. But she asked me throughout it, and we had planned to do this together, so technically Meg should be here, and I should be her support.
She's here.
She is. Meg's here, yeah. But for me, when I get a chance to share it, I always say it's things like, I'm looking in the camera saying, but this is for you, a woman. This is for a man who's got a wife. It's for anybody with a sister, a daughter, a mother, an aunt, a cousin that's female. Encourage them to get their pap smears. Encourage them to stay on top of that. It's a simple thing to do, and you could potentially, and I laugh because I give you the flyer at Cracker Barrel, and I did speak to you. It's like, are you current on your pap smear? I walk up to total strangers all the time.
I thought she was kind of a nut. She came up and said, I'm like, yeah, I am. And she walked off, and I'm like, okay. But then I read the pamphlet. That's, if you not did that, if you not done that and left this pamphlet, you wouldn't be here tonight. So I did take the time to read the pamphlet, but I did think you were a nut.
Well, and I didn't continue too much because you said, well, yeah, I get mine every year. I'm all, so I was like, okay, well, maybe you will share that with somebody else. So, but you did.
I did.
But I promised Meg I'd try to raise awareness, and just for men, I give them to the store cashiers at Kroger's, the guys, whoever, and I'll say, I know you're not a woman, you don't have a cervix, but there's got to be a woman in your world. So maybe can you use the pamphlet to break the ice? Even if it's your mom, you can leave it on the table and go, can you read that, Mom? Because I just want to make sure you're aware. And that's really all we can do. The HPV vaccine is available. Meg did not have the HPV vaccine. It came just after her middle school shots. So she wasn't under the care of a gynecologist because she was not on birth control. She had gone at 19 to the health department to have her first pap smear, which they didn't see any issues. If they don't see anything, they don't actually do a pap test. They'll just do a check. They'll just kind of visually look, do an exam, and say, okay, things are good. Sometimes I guess I wish she'd been a little different and had to be under the care of a gynecologist, but she wasn't. So kind of got missed that way. It's about listening to our bodies, women, all women. There's a lot of different cancers that can be caught early, colon cancer, different ones you can go for colonoscopies. There's a lot of different screenings, mammograms, obviously. There's an ovarian cancer screening program in Kentucky. It's free to women over 50. It's handled through UK Marquee. It's free. It's a good thing to be a part of. So I encourage people to use any of the screenings that are available. The vaccines, it's got a lot of bad press lately. It's every vaccine that we give our children, there's possible side effects, and there's all chicken pox, polio, measles, mumps, any of those. If you do your research, you'll see there's side effects. People have side effects. It happens all the time. Same thing with HPV. I'm not discounting it. The only thing I did learn on one panel that I went on was that they're not sure of the efficacy, so they don't know how long maybe this vaccine lasts. So they're saying that if a 9-year-old girl gets the HPV vaccine, when she's 22, she's going to think she can't possibly have cervical cancer because she had the vaccine. Not the case. Again, I am just mostly about saying listen to your body. Moms, pay attention to your daughters, and women, our sisters, our mothers. There's an epidemic in the women over 50 now. It's coming out. There's more and more. Our neighbor's 72-year-old sister was diagnosed with cervical cancer. So it's not just for young people. It's all across the ages. And the issue with the HPV that I want to bring up too is that the vaccine can help with other cancers. The kids nowadays, I guess I'm allowed to be frank this way, but yes. The kids nowadays, they don't think oral sex is sex, so they don't think that's sex. So we are seeing a rise, and this is documented, and you can do the research. There's a rise in throat cancer, stomach cancer, and colon cancer in younger people, possibly somehow connected with the HPV issues. So I encourage people to check into the vaccine. I mostly ask people to ask the people in the world, the women, are you current on your pap smear? Just quick, simple question, and then maybe the encouragement. Money-wise, I know that's an issue. I called the health department, my contacts there. I wasn't sure with the new insurance, and now we all have to have insurance and all this that's going on. You can still get a pap smear at the health department. If you are uninsured or underinsured, you can go to your local health department in Kentucky. I'm not sure about Tennessee. I know this goes into Tennessee, but you can still go to the health department where they'll check your finances, and they'll decide low cost. If you're at or below 250% of the poverty level. So that's important to know. There is a breast cancer and cervical cancer treatment program available in the state of Kentucky, working with Medicaid. So anybody that's diagnosed through, if you kind of are thinking, I know I have it, but I can't afford to be diagnosed, what am I going to do? They've got a program available to treat that and pay for it. And then also through the schools in the state of Kentucky, this is still going, and they don't know with the new health care how long it's going to last. But they do have a program. If your child, any of the vaccines that your child would want that you haven't gotten, if they're uninsured or underinsured, which means their insurance won't pay for vaccines, they can request it at their school, and they can receive the vaccine through their school nurse. So that's my tidbits.
Thank you so much. Very, very informative. And like I said, I read her, I thought she was a nut at first. When I read the pamphlet and got to talking to her, it's a very, very sad story that we don't need to repeat. So really good information. And also, let's read them, tell them your email in case they want to talk.
It's teammegky@gmail.com.
teammegky@gmail.com. That's all I got hold of her, so it does work. So Peter warning, and let's move on, and thank you very, very much. And we want to move to